Hey guys, stopped to take a little break next to the street, listening to all the cars under a tree shade that I don't need because it's kind of chilly out, but just thought I'd stop to enjoy the reality of the moment, as noisy as it may be sometimes. And got to thinking about one of the things I haven't touched much on yet is how to grow a stronger, deeper love for yourself. Because as I mentioned in other videos, seeing you and other people and trying to develop a love for people that are different from you, is a skill to master, and not everybody takes the time to do that, but it's definitely worth it if you do. But the trick is, a lot of people haven't learned how to love themselves fully. And even if you like yourself, you may not really understand the difference in a true, deep acknowledgement and acceptance of your entire self and love for exactly as you are, everything you've been through, and the whole experience. So let me just touch on what I've learned about that myself recently, just in going through that process of my own, in learning to see myself fully, because that was the first step in witnessing people, witnessing the experience of this world for all that it is I had to learn to see me, witness the reality of who I am and what I stand for and how I was built, what process I went through to get there, and to fully accept it and love it, not just tolerate it. And it's very empowering because you don't have to just be like, well, despite everything that happened to me, I came out okay, but I'm kind of messed up. Instead, you can be, I seem a little messed up to people that might be looking at it through that lens, but I know that I'm exactly who I was formed to be at this time, and I like that person, and I will continue to see more of me and like every bit of me that I see. And it's not just a matter of liking. Like, you can like a lot of stuff, but when you truly can accept, like for instance, a man, going back into the masculine feminine, growing up, I liked a lot of stuff that, a lot of people might consider feminine, but, animals and kids and, being sweet and tender and all this type of stuff that my mom taught me. She was a wonderful mom and taught me all the great value of the feminine side that she had. So I grew up kind of with those dominant thoughts of, I want to be a good father, so I can be more tender, more aware of my kids' emotions, my wife's emotions, all those things. I wanted to be a more sensitive and in touch man than most of the men I'd see with the toxic masculinity. But to do that, it requires a lot of introspection, a lot of personal time, for a man at least. I'm not sure how it works for women, but for you to be willing to step away from what's expected of you, a man's duties and the man's natural way of handling things, but to step away and think outside the box and try something new, an approach that most men don't take the time to do or don't have the courage to, considering how it'll make them look in society, and a lot of times they have an issue with that. When you can see the stuff you haven't healed from, things from the past, passed down generations, and you have the awareness to put that into perspective, how it applies nowadays. Modern day is different than in the past. How can I use the information from the past, apply it to the now with my wisdom of of the difference and heal, like generational healing they call it, heal from the misconceptions, brainwashing of the past by just becoming that healed version yourself, by choosing not to continue seeing people through a certain light and being, judgmental against any individual or any type, by seeing the fact that, you know what, I went through situations similar. Just cruising around another neighborhood, checking the sights out. Feeling a little bit sick still, just drifting away now. It was more of an issue yesterday, but today I'm doing all right. What's going on? Let's see what's going on down here. Oh yeah, the elotes. Just a random neighborhood. So I did want to address a little bit yesterday, talking about allowing yourself to be a little delusional, delulu. I didn't really mean in the traditional sense. Obviously, we don't want to lose track of our true self or true current experienced reality. But when it comes to deciding our future, allow yourself to dream big. Allow yourself to imagine what could be as sometimes being bigger than what you previously thought. And the doors and windows will start opening for you because you start looking in the right places. You start allowing yourself the consideration that you're worth whatever bigger future. And by bigger, I mean in whatever you see it as. It could be financial, but I think for a lot of people, they want a genuine joy future. And so find what brings you joy and then think the big version of that. And then try to make it for yourself. Try to build it. There's always an opportunity, always a way to find more joy than you thought possible. All right, let's see. Today in the game of life, on my epic quest, my journey to discover the world around me and myself and anybody else that is playing this game alongside me, I just decided I'd talk to you guys about the concept of the game, the epic journey of the hero, discovering who he is and becoming the hero he has potential to become. So for anyone that isn't familiar with video gaming, usually the way it plays out is you start the game weak and minimized in your capabilities, and you work your way up in capability, learn, through experience points. You can level up and you can apply skill points to different attributes if you want to gain dexterity or agility or strength or defense, depending on what type of hero you want to be. Do you want to be a tank that can take the hits for other people? Do you want to be a warrior that can go out and just, charge ahead and has more attack power? Or do you want to be a magician, focus on the magic arts, the things that might help in situations where a brute sword doesn't do the trick? Or do you want to be a bard that just makes people happy and can influence people with singing songs? So there's a lot of different types of games, but this is the type of game I'm focusing on right now because it's most similar to the world we live in, the life we're experiencing. The way I see it is, when people play these games, a lot of times they'll put a lot more effort into developing the character of their video game than you see that they are doing in the real world with their own real character. Your individual avatar, your character, your hero. And so, real quick, I want to inspire you to believe that it's okay to have main character energy in your world. Maybe not the world in general. You don't want to act like you're the main character in so many situations where it becomes obnoxious to the people around you. I mean, if that's the character you choose for this game, that's fine. Each person to their own, they got their own choice of experience that they are going to be for somebody and that they're going to become for themselves. But aside from that, we are our own main character, and we should take the time to value who we become. I say should. Each person's story arc is different, but it definitely is an enjoyable experience and helps with many of the problems in life if you take the time to develop your character the way you would your avatar in a video game. So, for instance, in a video game, a lot of times one of the main quests and goals is to assist people along the way. Helps you develop the character points, sometimes reputation points for the town you're in, or the people you're trying to win over to help in your journey. And side characters, or the townspeople, or what they call NPCs, non-player characters. So the people that there's nobody playing with a video game controller, it's just programmed in. In this world, we run across people that, in our experience, feel like an NPC. They don't seem to have a thought process of their own that is really guiding them. They're just living on a whim. And honestly, who knows? It may be just the way people start out in general is aimless. Aimless. They don't know they're in a video game, so they're following the task that they were raised to do. So, when I grow up, I want to be this, and I'm going to do this and this because that's what I was told to do, and I'm not going to think beyond that. And that's what a lot of people seem to be going through. I call that NPC because they don't break away from that to become the hero in the game. If you think about the hero in a video game, you work your way up, defeating enemies, challenges, and tasks, and developing character, developing skills, upgrading your equipment to be able to take on bigger tasks and bigger skills, bigger challenges. And so as we develop the character that we are choosing to become, we have options, obviously, and we choose which one feels right for the individual that we currently are. And so I chose to become a father. Not all men do choose that path. And it was one of the best paths I've ever taken, but I see that my journey is branching away from that now that they're grown. And so I'm discovering where my journey's taking me next, where my adventure is going to lead me. So when you consider what your journey is, I mean, it's really up to you. You decide which direction you want to take it based on where you're at, based on the skills you have, what feels right for your soul. And then start developing that character. Work on those experience points. If you play a video game, do you want that video game character to just go into a house and sit down and play a video game of its own, a little game inside a game, gameception? It can develop, experience points. You can earn experience from having those experiences. But then eventually you want to break away from that. You want to break away from other things that might keep you limited. Like, you don't want to just grind away at the same activity, grind away at the same job, grind away at... Sometimes you just want to branch out and discover new skills, new potentials in this game. And so where I'm going with this is allow yourself to be the hero as you witness the hero arc, the development of this character that you are becoming. when you step in to become the active player in your game, decisive, that's aware of the rules, aware of how to gain the experience, how to apply skill points to have the best effect, what best gear goes with which type of character, and then you find which character you are, equip yourself with that gear, add on those skill points, gain those experience points by getting out there and discovering the world and going through those experiences. And then treat it like the best book or movie or video game you've ever seen, and just follow that hero's development to see how the story plays out, and make it magical, make it grand, make it as big and beautiful as you can, as much as you want, or as chill and passive. I mean, it's really up to you. I personally am looking forward to making a great grand adventure out of my remainder of my current experience, my current existence. And I just want to encourage anyone to think outside of the routine life. You think of life as the boring humdrum, day-to-day experience, but it's a journey where this hero hasn't discovered that he is the hero of his game, and that he has quests that he can take on, and experiences he can gain, and skills he can master to save the princess, or along the way save his own world, his or her, of course, own experience from the doldrums. I don't know anyone that, if given the choice to create a fulfilling, exciting life, or live in a grindy, boring, experience, that they would choose that. They just don't know how. Oftentimes we don't know how. I didn't know how. I've only started recently discovering how to take back control of my life and make a world that is something that I can be the hero of. For me, for the people that know me, I can try to become a bigger, better, stronger, more powerful, more capable, and more heroic version of myself. Because why not? Why not? Why do we allow any narratives of the world to convince us that we need to shrink ourselves to fit into this concept that we started out at as just a regular person in the world? Our parents and our grandparents and their grandparents, most people went through their entire existence believing that they were just another cog in the machine, just there to grind away at the game, do their little tasks as a village person, and never get out and really experience the adventure that this world provides. And I found, even in this small town, there's so many adventures I can go on, whether it's outdoors, internally, growing experience, the different angles of myself I've been able to develop, and the culture, the relationships and the cultures, when I travel to other countries or watch YouTube videos. It can be something as small as that, where you can start deriving such amazing messages and experiences out of other people's experiences too. So like, even if you find yourself wasting a bunch of time watching videos, wasting time, I mean, I thought of that as my only addiction was observing. Well, originally it was just I watched too much YouTube or whatever. But I don't see that as a negative addiction if I apply it to myself and put it into action in the world. If I just sit there and absorb until I die, then yeah, I experience stuff, but then I did nothing with that experience. I never went out and saved the princess or the world, or conquered my quest, or achieved my plans, my goals. And a lot of people, when they're trying to achieve goals or set goals, they may set them small because they don't know that they're allowed to dream bigger. I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of family and friends that encouraged me to dream big and to see potential in myself and in the world around me. Unintentionally, I don't even know how many of them intended to give me a message to apply to my life like that necessarily. I mean, little bits here and there, obviously, but it's something that you kind of have to discover for yourself, and little inspirational, bits here and there from people in my life have encouraged me to believe that this kind of thing is possible, that, you don't have to just take reality at face value. Reality is what you make it. I mean, I'm a 45-year-old guy spinning around a pole in a basketball court in some random neighborhood. Nobody cares. Because this is my world. I own this. And I own my experience and the consequences of my choices. And I no longer am going to allow my life to make the choices for me. And I'm not going to let fear make choices for me, because fear is what holds people back from really seeing their potential. Just imagine if the hero of the movie or video game just decided to give in to the fear. The fear of, oh no, but the boss is big and scary, so I just won't even try to fight him. I won't even try to conquer this game. I'll just bow out and be small and never really achieve what's possible. And then people that don't feel empowered, I can understand, because I never felt empowered until more recently. And I've had situations that helped me self-empower, but it was through people like me, somebody on the internet, somebody that went through some of these thought shifts and suddenly realized, oh, you know what? Not only can I become this, but I can help other people see that they can become this. And that's really not hard. It really is just a mental shift to wake up to your potential and to what matters to you, but of course sometimes doesn't matter to other people, and that's fine. And it helps you even knowing that this is my story. This is my hero arc, my adventure. I don't need to convince people to do my storyline, because they have their own. And I don't want to influence them more than they're interested. So at this point, instead of preaching like I have in the past, I just deliver messages of what I've discovered, and anyone that is interested can apply whatever part to their life that they want. And I don't have to feel like I'm imposing anything, because if somebody wants to apply something, they'll do it in the right timing. It's a little chilly out here. My nose is running. I didn't dress up warm enough. That's all right. It's Arizona. I don't expect cold. But it's a beautiful world, beautiful life. But only if you allow it to be, if you allow yourself to see what experience it is and take back your claim your herohood, step away from the hometown that you started the game in, and get out there and discover what adventure and what tasks in the world need a hero. Or just have a good time with it. Maybe it's just a game that you play for just adventure, just for fun, just for experience of playing the game. Or maybe it's PvP, player versus player, where you play against your friends and see who can do better. Some people do that. They make their whole life about competition, I mean, that's one type of game. But if you're always trying to be one up people without the spirit of enjoyment, you know, you can have this fun spirit of competition with buddies. But when people take it so seriously because they don't realize how it can be just a lighthearted game, and so they really truly, you know, get offended by stuff and hurt by other people's successes or other people's experiences or the path that they choose, which really doesn't have to apply to you. It's a minor setback in your story, in your adventure. I've referred to video games multiple times in the past. I don't need to ramble on and on. I think you guys get the point, but I'm sure I'll touch on this in future videos too, especially when my videos are more applicable with more viewers. Until then, I'll just continue on my adventure and keep watching the one that you guys are creating. I'm here logged in at the United States server in the Arizona division, playing this multiplayer game with y'all. Love to see the world you're creating. I just think that the sky's the limits. And a lot of times we don't know until we spread our wings to fly. And we don't know we have that ability until we see other people doing it. And when you fly, there's so much to see. Join me. Let's fly together. Love you.